Hello and welcome to MythCast episode number 14. I am your host, Clan Mythology's very own vocal terrorist, Jesse Voctor Rain. Today marks the first of 3 replays given to me by none other than this Red Protoss himself, JayPower. Now today we're going to be looking at his verse Terran play here on Acheron Waste as he goes up against T's Veitstanz. Now the reason we're taking a look at JayPower is because this weekend, in fact yesterday, he was out in the Hague with the team, as far as I'm aware, taking part in the Dutch StarCraft League Team League. Now unfortunately we did not make it through the semi-finals. We lost 3-0 against Lowland Lions, but no shame there. It's our first live event against a very, very good team, and there was a lot to take away from it. And one of those things to take away from it is JayPower. Through our friendship and close partnership with UCAP Esports, we have had the loan of JayPower, and hopefully, we'll be doing more with him in the future. He's an incredibly talented player, and that's why he was asked to send me 3 replays. Obviously, we also got to look at him versus Daz yesterday, which was a very, very fun game. So, as we can see, JayPower opening up very, very standardly here, which is what we like to see. Throwing out the pylon over here gives nice vision, just in case this SCV wants to be annoying over here. But as well as that, gives them the option to potentially hide things away from where a scan on the main will not see it. So it just gives the Terran things to think about. As we can see, the Terran is also opening very standardly in terms of the 1-Rax Reaper, quite possibly into an expansion, but it also gives him the options of adding more barracks, taking the second gas, and all that jazz. Veitstanz is looking for this fast expansion to come out of JayPower. He did only see the 1 gas being taken, but now, as we see, the second one going down at this point. Veitstanz aren't aware of it at this point, but this is a later second gas than you would normally expect for anything but a fast expand. As we can see, minerals already building up. We should see Warp Gate going down fairly quickly. The expansion for Veitstanz is going down. We're also seeing a mothership core coming out. So JayPower at this point being fairly defensive. Now he moves down to place the Nexus, and dang it, SCV, get out my ways. JayPower definitely wants to get that base down, and there we go, at 400 minerals. More than enough. Veitstanz sees it and will also use the Reaper to try and gain some additional scouting information and a probe kill. But here comes the mothership core to say, does get the 1 probe kill, also checks over here for the second. Will he lose it? Oh, escapes with 4 hit points. Very, very close. You do not want to lose the Reaper. And now we have another pylon going down at the back. So all of these giving JayPower options in the future. And here we see the first sign of real tech from JayPower. It's going to be a Stargate opening. Makes sense given the options that Stargates give you, as well as what he scouted here. He knows there's no extra gas going down yet, so it's going to be largely Rax based to begin with, and with only 1 gas, with no tech lab. Stim, combat shields and that are still a while away, so definitely time for this Stargate to get potentially an Oracle out and do some damage. Or, of course, you do see the occasional Phoenix use as well, but in general, I think it's going to be an Oracle opening, and not just because that was written in the title of the replay. Honest, I know what I'm talking about sometimes when it comes to PvT, but look at this. Veitstanz, even though he is unaware of the Stargate, totally ready for it. Throws down a missile turret already. That is, of course, what the engineering bay was for. It does not right now really have the gas to be spending on getting out upgrades. Looking more towards getting Stim ready for it. And look at this, the Reaper even sees the Stargate. So just checking. And JayPower goes, okay. And starts to immediately transition out. Now, will we see the photon overcharge go down? I should not think so. Especially with the Reaper potentially being trapped. Is he going to make it down? Oh, Stalker once again escaping this time with just 2 hit points. Now with that missile turret there, it's going to be very hard for this Oracle to get the kind of damage that JayPower was hoping for. He will have a few SCVs he can pick off here and just on the edges if he's careful, but really does need to be careful. It's only a few shots from a missile turret will kill you. With all the Marines down here by a bunker, with Stim on the way, the Oracle's not going to be able to do much to those either. And now this Oracle does get taken down. That is not what JayPower wanted at all. So Veitstanz just kind of auto-countering there with that missile turret, but still, JayPower does as much as he can with it. Now this would have been a great position to catch with, and look at this, the Marines are actually going to see if they can catch a second one as they come in. That's more than enough Marines now to take down an Oracle. But yes, this would have been a nice position to hit. I think a fair few of these I think these 2 mineral patches and this gas are not covered by this missile turret placement. I think it's just a hex or so off. But anyway, we've got the first forge coming down. We now have a couple more gateways being added, and we're going to see JayPower go straight into Colossus from here. So after the one Oracle, knows it's been scouted, knows that there are things in place to stop that from being useful, and that's just it. Bam! Just drops it immediately. Tech switches into Colossus. Once this pylon finishes up, we will be ready to start getting those out. And now he's looking towards a 3rd base, so looking towards that 3-base economy, as Veitstanz is doing the same thing, getting all the normal Terran tech up. He will have a reacted starport once these buildings switch. I swear to God, I heard a lot of Marines shooting there. That was so strange. I expected him to be taking down the rocks with that noise, but I guess either I went insane or the game sound did. It's one of the two. It's possible it's both. I think it's more likely that I went insane. But here we see Robo Facility continuing to pump out these Colossus, and now we're seeing a transition. Oh, interesting. Adding a couple of Phoenixes to this to potentially combat the Vikings if they should try to take down the Colossus. Also, just useful to catch drops over here. Instead of throwing out an Observer, throw in a Phoenix here. A Phoenix or 2 can do an awful lot to stop drops, or to at least give you vision of them before they reach your base. Twilight Council going down as well. Will allow him to start to get +2, but with just the 1 forge of this, as we see, yes. Okay, good. Adding the 2nd forge and walling this off. So now Veitstanz is going to come up against this and go, okay, I need to remove this from the table so that I can have good access to that 3rd base in the future. Of course, Veitstanz, I think, should be aware that it's not actually completed yet. But this is good. Breaking down the rocks by the Terran before that 3rd base is up also gives him another way into this base, wherein the Phoenix here will not catch it. So this is going to be a double drop directly up into the main. JayPower does have vision of it, and now the Colossus are really going to get to work here, taking an awful lot of Marines straight away. Photon overcharge also going down. Now needs to be careful with these 2 Colossus. You don't quite want to lead with them. And just 1 Phoenix, as we see, not doing a ton of damage to this medevac, harassing it away, but eventually units will be dropped and the Phoenix will have to back off. So there we see it. 3rd base coming down for JayPower as the 3rd has been landed for Veitstanz, and he starts to take down these rocks here. Now Veitstanz looked like he was going for another attack, potentially into the mineral line of the 3rd or up into the main, but this Phoenix has scouted it and he's not retreating. Veitstanz, you are not paying attention. Losing not 1 medevac, but will be losing a 2nd, both of them almost entirely full of Marines and Marauders. So this is horrendous for the Terran player. He does speed boost, which means he can potentially get away and start dropping units, and he will do. Oh my word, that was so close there. Nearly losing 2 medevacs full of units, and now photon cannons down. So good play by JayPower, but a terrible, terrible misclick there. Meanwhile, JayPower continues to just upgrade to get Blink out. Blink almost done at this point. 3 Colossus will be done, and then perhaps we'll see a tech switch again into the High Templar, which is what charge suggests to me. Meanwhile, Veitstanz is looking at taking a 4th base, just increasing his economy as much as possible. As we see, good worker splits here with 14, 15 and 16. So maximising his economy here. JayPower, meanwhile, with a slight oversaturation in the main, especially with the cannon down. Could do with potentially transferring a few down here, but I mean with 15 here, it still makes sense. It does mean that main is going to get mined out a little bit faster as well. So the expected tech switch coming up with the Templar Archives with charge, with the +3/+2 on the way as well. And we have the Phoenix patrolling much further out now to try and catch any medevacs before they get dropped at the 3rd. Meanwhile, if you look at Veitstanz's army, well, it's just typical bio. Marine, Marauder, Medevac with a couple of Vikings mixed in, 6 Vikings in fact, to help deal with the Colossus threat. And we're going to see JayPower start to just posture a little bit here early on. Another Phoenix coming out on the left hand side, also looking for any potential drops. I believe this Zealot has been misrallied slightly. I think he wanted him up here on the Zelnaga Watchtower to start to get vision. That's where this one is going. He's coming up here to get this vision. But so all in all, JayPower doing very, very well here. Storm is on the way. He's not being chrono boosted, which is good. He's not under any imminent threat of attack, so it makes more sense to chrono boost out these upgrades so that you can start on future ones. Whereas once Storm is done, the Templar Archives is only needed for the creation of High Templar. And now, with the vision gained, JayPower says, now is the time to take my 4th base. And we're going to see some hallucinated Phoenixes come out as well, and they are going to catch that this army's moving out. So, time for JayPower to, well, warp in a ton of Zealots and potentially chrono boost. Look at that. Chrono boosting Storm already. Just fantastic decision making here by JayPower. Now he's going to start to move out here, trying to catch this Ghost. There's a fair few Ghosts mixed in for Veitstanz, which is very, very good. But the High Templar are behind, they're not getting EMP'd. The Zealots are, however, but here come the Storms! Oh, good feedbacks instead, once the army was pulled back, and a great storm right on top of the reclumped army. JayPower making his small supply work, losing a Colossus and a lot of Zealots, but beyond that, nothing else. Whereas Veitstanz lost all his Ghosts and was forced to pull back while JayPower secured his 4th base. So, all in all, very well played by JayPower here. Adding gates at the right time, being ready for that attack, keeping good map vision, although once again, he could do with moving the Zealot up to the high ground. But good patrol routes for the 2 Phoenixes, so managing to make use of that Stargate, even though the initial problems he had with it, with his opponent, with Veitstanz being ready for it with the missile turret and with the right amount of units and a bunker up to protect his Marines. We have 3-3 on the way for Veitstanz, but the upgrade advantage is going to be with JayPower for the foreseeable future, especially with shields coming out as well. And we do have this Warp Prism coming in just as Veitstanz is beginning to move out, which could be problematic. Potential sniping of the Ghost Academy, or just starting to attack some production facilities. There are a few SCVs in here, but the Ghost Academy is what he goes for, and I think that's the right move to make. Because of course the less ghosts your opponent has up against High Templars, the better. And there's no way for Veitstanz to stop that from happening. And a single Zealot also beginning to be warped into this mineral line, forcing him to deal with it as well. And now just supply depots being taken down. No specific focus. Could do with going onto the Engie Bay, but going to go for the armory instead. See if he can take it down. The Vikings will chase this Warp Prism away, but the Warp Prism so far is escaping slowly. These these Zealots not even being cleared up at this point, dealing with the Marines sent against them. So also getting the armory kill and a few SCVs as well. Would have liked that Engie Bay to go down, but we can't get everything that we want. This Warp Prism is not going to be taken down, interestingly enough. These Zealots finally getting cleared up, but we have more harassment going on. As we have Zealots running into the mineral line of Veitstanz's 5th base, stopping gas from being mined. Which is just, again, a pain for the Terran to deal with. And now JayPower securing his own 5th base. And man, once Protoss get on 5 bases, they start to get stupidly scary. We've got 2 more warp prisms on the way. He wants to continue to harass his opponent and also use them as forward pylons, don't forget. With that many Vikings around, it can make sense to have 2 just in case one gets sniped. And he has the ability to remake Colossus very, very quickly, should he so choose. We're also seeing the addition of 2 starports, so he can continue into starport range. And look at that, using the Stalker's ability to harass this mineral line. Just great work from JayPower, doing what Terrans normally do to their Protoss opponents, which is picking them apart at this point. We have another Warp Prism headed up for this base, which is heavily muled right now, and only 1 missile turret to defend it. Completely out of position. As we can see, 2 more mules landed here, as we are about to witness a huge warp in of Zealots. We are about to witness a huge warp in of Zealots. JayPower, please. Well, 1 DT in fact does not make it because the Vikings were there and ready to go. So perhaps just running a little bit long there was JayPower. But nonetheless, a bunch more DTs up in domain now. And taking down reactors, which is great to see. Taking down this eBay, but way too late. And Veitstanz, well, he just does not want to deal with it anymore. With DTs in this base, DTs up in the main, headed for the 3rd as well. Veitstanz says, I cannot fight you anymore. And simply GG's out before a battle has even occurred. Great game there by JayPower, just tearing his opponent apart, making his opponent not want to deal with it, not want to play anymore. Guys, this has been MythCast. I've been your host, Jesse Rain. Don't forget to check more from us at Clan Myth at www.clan-myth.com and support our sponsors, especially GameShop, who have been absolutely wonderful to us. I'll be back with more JayPower replays tomorrow and Tuesday, so keep your eyes peeled right here on youtube.com/VoctorGaming.